So I've watched the episode one of the Bible Marcos journey. Um, I gotta say that starting off, it, I want to just give like my critique. This is kind of like my review. Um, some of the things that it did really well is like the pacing of it, as far as like did it do good and replicating that animated style. um yes. As far as um you know the jokes, facial expressions, even some of that kind of like beginning narration, I do I do think that some of the things that uh, that played against the overall production of the particular episode one is just being inexperienced, right? Like this isn't made by quote unquote professional, like but it's all right. It's all right because it just means that that person is just gonna get better in making that, right? Nobody's good at anything, like perfect at anything when they first start out. Nobody's good at anything when they first start out. It takes some type of practice, takes some type of skill, and time to develop. So what I'm hoping is that as we watch more and more of these episodes, that they will continue to increase in the value and increase in their quality. Um, the things that I like were the jokes, how they use some of the B-roll footage over like the towns to do um, um, like kind of like that scene transition. I think a lot of the faces and the jokes were similar to anime pacing. I think a lot of the like it like legit made me like chuckle a few times, right? So like some of the jokes where it was like, oh well, the angel and the main character finally arrived in like the past, and it was just like, and the angel was just like, this is the plan, and then it was like, and then he was like, well, what can I do? He was like, shut up, ain't nobody talking to you. He said something like that, and it was very dismissive, but for like the timing, the comedic timing was there. It made me laugh, and I'm hoping that it would make other people laugh as well. Um, some of like I said, some of the things that I would nitpick over is just like born out of like lack of experience, and there's nothing that's wrong with that. So it would be like there would be areas where the quality would like not quality, the volume would like dip down when a certain character was speaking, right? Um, it would be it would be because you have what you're working with. The B-roll footage looked like it came from something else, and I don't know if it was like made by the same person or outsourced, or if they were like just I don't know. I don't know. But there was definitely a shift in quality, but that's what you're going to get when that's the type of stuff that you're going to get when you're um, dealing with you know again inexperience. All this stuff is going to be ironed out with experience. So there is there is grace and mercy for that. Like I said, I just watched episode one, so I'm hoping the next episodes are steadily getting better and better. The way that they made the villains look were pretty good. The way that they did like the in head monologue thing where they're just trying to commentate um, on whatever their current situation is for a quick second. I think they executed that well. Another one of the things that I think this is maybe a slight critique. It was just some of the frames, right? Some of the frames where the faces were drawn, their their eyes were like mismatched, you know, like not mismatched, but like the depth, right, would be a little bit off, right? But it's cool. It's fine. It's fine. Um, but like I said, all this stuff, episode one stuff, um, they they made one of the villains look like dude from Doctor Stone, like the main character from Doctor Stone. Uh, like it got the spiky hair and like with the like little bang going in front of their face is like that was like I'm like, is that a reference to Doctor Stone? So that was pretty cool. Um, it's funny because during the beginning, the first like few minutes of the episode, um, it had a real like there was a moment in there where the main character's mother was being introduced, and it kind of put me in that. It took me like a little bit out of the anime vibe, which is fine, and it put me in the Boondocks vibe where it was like, whatever, whatever. It even did the like the little trope where you know how like somebody is going off on somebody in the background, and then they're focused on whatever it is that the person is thinking, like that head thing. Like that was that was pretty that was that was it was well implemented enough to where it was like, oh, okay, you can get the idea what they're going for. But it was like, okay, usually during those times those people are actually saying something and forces people to listen, you know. It's not always the blah 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 blah, sound like Charlie Brown, but yeah, it's one of those things to where it's like, yo, anybody could who's a fan of anime could appreciate this, and the fact that it's a Bible anime makes it that much more better. So I'm looking forward to see what type of improvements were made in episode two, as well as like um, the voice acting, because I know there were some lines to where it's like there were missed opportunities, right? I think there are missed opportunities in a sense to where it's like, um, okay, David is like I get the sense David was trying to be confident and maybe even a little bit boisterous, and that was a missed opportunity for David's character to be a little bit more boisterous and be like and put more emotion into the voice. Now, granted, I think most of the characters are are voiced by the same guy. Like the same dude who makes this is the same guy who is voicing like most of the characters. I'm sure some of the characters have been outsourced bands that there were a couple of voices. I think it was the main character's mom, as well as the girl who was, I guess, David's childhood friend or sister or whatever. Um, sounded like women. So that was interesting. There was also, I noticed, different art styles when it came to certain frames. Um, it definitely implemented the seem well. I shouldn't say definitely implemented. It seemed like it implemented the like One Punch Man serious kind of this blacked out eye with the that kind of thing. It reminded me a lot of One Punch Man in certain frames. Um, yeah, and obviously you noticed that there was a lot of power ups, um, a lot of power up imagery. You know, can't talk. Power up imagery, and that was utilized in a way to where I'm like, oh, okay, well, we can see what they're clearly going for, right? Um, Another missed opportunity, like I said, throwing in those extra frames to like when David is talking to, I believe it's his father. Um, it might be somebody else. Where David is talking to, but is talking to a person who's objecting to send him out into the battlefield. When David said his armor is too heavy, like there was a missed opportunity where there was a frame where it was like half his face, like he was just staring straight. It should have been like it should have been like the eye should have shifted over to David and like shift it back or something like that to listen to let the viewer know that he was listening to what David was saying, but then shift it back and saying like, listen, you'll do what you have to do. And that's one thing that I noticed in animes. They kind of pull that kind of trope a lot to make it seem a lot more serious, that type of thing. So overall, like I can't nitpick about it too much. Like I said, I know that this isn't particularly a something that's done by like a whole team of studios. I believe just one man is doing this, and for it being like one man, like yo, this is absolutely excellent, right? This is actually astounding, right? So I'm looking forward to see what the changes are in episode 2, and then hopefully we'll go on from there, and we'll just continue to see improvements upon improvements. Um, Thank you guys for watching, and comment down below to let me know to see what you guys think about the anime, and I'll actually link it in the description down below. So, um, yeah, see you later.